Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
What's happening, YouTube? I'm back off my hiatus. I hope everybody been taking care of yourselves. Hope y'all been meditating, reading, you know what I'm saying, vibing high and taking care of yourselves out here in these streets and shit. So, I told y'all in my last video, oh yeah, salute to everybody who checked out my conspiracy on everything videos. I very much appreciate y'all. You know, if you haven't liked it, like it, share it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And hit that notification bell, yeah. But if y'all caught the last saga finale of that, I told y'all we was gonna touch on the cannabis. So, what would a cannabis video be without cannabis? Science for the conscious mind. Let's get into it.
For pain control, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, smooth muscle relaxant. It's also an anti-spasmodic. It's particularly effective in relieving pain from connective tissue disorders, from arthritis, from fibromyalgia, from systemic lupus, from reflex sympathetic dystrophy, a whole host of conditions that we don't really understand very well. People seem to get good relief from cannabis. From a medical viewpoint, cannabis has no overdose potential. It's helpful in dealing with the anxiety of people that have Alzheimer's disease. It's helpful in dealing with the muscle spasms that are associated with Parkinson's disease. Cannabis has an unexcelled record in terms of providing safe and effective sleep. We did a little study of people with Crohn's disease and found that many of them were able to stop using steroids and stop using other medications that they had taken for their Crohn's, that they had less diarrhea, they had less abdominal pain. It was a true miracle for them. Here you have a substance that makes you feel better, has no overdose potential, returns you to your cognitive level of functioning. We've got 15,000 studies that have been done, both basic science and clinical studies, that have demonstrated over and over again the medicinal value of cannabis. I think there's a very bright future for medical cannabis in this country.
Okay. And these are certified doctors who did their research, who dug, experimented, tested, and all that type of good stuff that come with it now. This is stuff that our ancestors been talking about for years. Cannabis is a herb, no different than black seed oil, and the plant that black seed oil come from is no different than dandelion root. Oh yeah, dandelion root is healthy for you too. It's no different than any of these other herbs that help the body. It's holistic healing. A lot of us been holistic healing ourselves and we don't even know. And your body, your brain has cannabinoid receptors that is just for cannabis. You understand me? So with that being said, if we was born with cannabinoid receptors and cannabis was put on this earth for medicine and food and clothes and fuel, and there's no overdose potential, you might go to sleep, wake up with the munchies and shit. How is it bad? See, I had partners who had real bad anxiety, and the doctors used to prescribe them Xanax and Valium and all that type of stuff. And they used to tell me the pills used to do something to them. Like, and I had homeboys who was on Ritalin and all that type of shit, because they parents believed they had ADHD, but don't know it was the sugar in the food that they was feeding them. Y'all give these kids sugar and then complain about them being hyper. You got attention disorder. No, he's high off sugar. You know what I'm saying? But I had partners who used to take Valium and Ritalin and Xanax for their anxiety and all that type of stuff. But let me tell you something. They used to come over and kick it with me, and we used to smoke weed. They ain't need that no more. You heard me? They ain't need that anymore. So cannabis do a lot of things. That shit do a lot of beneficial things. I'm trying to tell you. And your body knows it. Your body knows it. Everybody who started smoking weed It's because your body know it. You either went through some trauma, or you internally sick, or your mind ain't stable, and your body innately told you, get some cannabis. It's no different than your dog who's sick, and you let him outside and he start eating the grass, because grass to dogs have nutrition. That's how you know if a dog is sick or not. And he's eating the grass to get the nutrition to get his body back in balance. Man, y'all not paying attention. Science for the conscious mind. Let's keep it going.
What is the evidence that marijuana smoking, habitual marijuana smoking, can lead to lung cancer? With respect to the development of lung cancer, we found no evidence of any increased risk of lung cancer occurrence in association with marijuana smoking alone. The THC actually has an anti-tumoral effect. And these are studies that were done both in experimental animals and in cell culture systems, and for different kinds of cancer. For lung cancer, breast cancer, thyroid cancer, prostate cancer, gliomas, brain cancer, that the development and growth, or the growth actually of the tumor is suppressed by THC, and metastases are also suppressed.
There was a study done on AIDS patients by Dr. Donald Abrams of UCSF to specifically determine whether or not the use of cannabis had an adverse effect on AIDS patients. And rather than finding that it had an adverse effect, he found that it had a favorable effect and that it counteracted AIDS wasting syndrome. Cannabis is useful in relieving people's pain. People are able to decrease the amount of opiates that they're taking, and in some instances to stop taking opiates entirely for pain control.
And to all my people who be like, well, it's smoke and it causes lung cancer. Y'all sound about ignorant as fuck. Whatever smoke comes from whatever is burnt. If you burn wood, then you burning the property of that wood. If you get a piece of paper and you burn it, then you burning the property of that paper. If I burn this sage, I'm burning the properties in this sage. If I burn tobacco, I'm burning the properties in tobacco. If I burn weed, I'm burning the properties in the cannabis. Cannabis has the reverse effect of tobacco. When I tell people, because I got bronchitis and shit, and when I used to have an episode of when I can't breathe, and I tell people I need to smoke some weed, people just be like, oh, you just a pothead, you just want to smoke. No, nigga, I did the research. Cannabis opens the lungs, it opens the bronchial tubes. When you smoke and you be coughing, and then when you get to the end of your coughing, you be like, you just open your bronchial tubes, you open your lungs. Now, if you smoke tobacco, you can't do that. It has properties that constricts the lungs. You can't smoke tobacco and then be like, you can't. That's why people who smoke tobacco and shit like that can't run up and down the court like that. But people who smoke weed, they can run up and down the court like that. The only harmful thing about smoking cannabis is what you wrap it in. That's why I roll up in hemp. I roll up in hemp papers. I roll up in hemp wraps. What you smoking is what's causing the problems. When y'all go buy those Relos and shit like that, it tells you on the paper that this is a tobacco product. That the cigar that y'all splitting the guts and whoop, that right there, that's tobacco leaf. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, man, I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't smoke tobacco, but you split that damn tobacco leaf and you putting the weed in it and you rolling up and you smoking weed and tobacco. And in Jamaica, they call it gaba. When you mix tobacco and weed together and smoke it, it's called a gaba. So you smoke weed and tobacco. You just don't know it. You don't smoke cigarettes or nothing that, but you still smoking tobacco. And what you wrap it in is what's causing the problems. And it says it on a pack of Swishers, White Owls, whatever. It says this product contains nicotine. Okay, if nicotine is in the tobacco and the thing is a tobacco leaf, that means that whole thing is full of nicotine. Why you think people can't go without smoking a blunt? A person be like, man, I bet anybody can't go a whole month without smoking a blunt. Get only papers and roll it up and smoke, and I guarantee you be like, man, I need me a blunt. I need me a blunt, man. I mean, the papers and shit cool, but I need me a blunt. That's because you're addicted to the nicotine that's in the blunt, that's in the cigar. Y'all gonna get this work. The best way to smoke marijuana is in hemp papers, hemp wraps, vapes, bongs, bowls, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You getting straight to your dig. But science for the conscious mind, let's keep it going.
Looking at an unexcelled wonder plant, herbal medicine that has no comparison. Cannabis is found in every major materia medica that has ever been written. It was included in the United States Pharmacopoeia from 1854 until 1941. The founder of modern medicine is a physician named Sir William Osler, who was prominent around the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. He wrote the first textbook of internal medicine, and in that textbook, he said that cannabis was the most effective medication for the treatment of migraine headaches. The first modern research that was done on cannabis was done in 1949 that demonstrated its usefulness in treating epilepsy. I have a number of people who don't have epilepsy when they use cannabis regularly. Cannabis is remarkably well suited to our anatomy and physiology, even in the event one smokes it.
Marijuana was widely used in the 19th century for the treatment of asthma. And in the 1970s, we found that marijuana has a bronchodilator effect. It's because of the THC in marijuana. What is the...
You heard what they said. You heard what they said now. That the medical institution believe in the herbal healing of cannabis from the 1800s all the way up to the 1940s. Y'all remember in my last video what I told you what happened between 1920s and the 1940s, right? The Rothschilds, Rockefellers start infiltrating the medical institutes and shit like that and start teaching people about pharmaceuticals and not holistic anymore because it's a business. If we sell people the cure, we ain't gonna get no money. But if we keep giving you treatment, you're gonna keep coming back for treatment. That means we keep getting paid. Y'all understand me? I told you all of this shit is connected. And in the 1930s and 1940s, they came out with that movie called that damn marijuana movie, that marijuana crazy or marijuana insanity or marijuana something. Go check it out. And what it was a program, because I told you television program. It was a program. So it was a program to program people to think that marijuana is bad. Cannabis is bad. It makes you do all these things. It makes white women want to have sex with black men. Girl, boy, stop. White women been wanting to have sex with black men way before cannabis even came into play, you heard me? So they came up with all this brainwashing tools and shit like that. And what I tell you, monkey see, monkey do. Once a small group of people start believing in something holy, then slowly and slowly everybody else will start believing, and people start becoming sheeps and sheeps and sheeple and sheeple. Monkey see, monkey do. Cognitive bias is what it's called. Excuse my language. Sometimes my tongue don't roll right, but that's what it's called. So that's a quick little gem on cannabis. Y'all can take what I just gave y'all and do your own research, get your own experience, self-teach, self-educate, and I'm gonna see y'all on my next movie when I get off. On my next video when I get off. We're gonna be talking about indigenous Americans because I haven't touched on that in a long time. So until then, vibe high, peace, prosperity, grateful, gratitude, appreciation, love, caring, nurture, and logic and intuition. Signs are for the conscious mind. If y'all like this video, please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my next videos and more dope content. I'm gonna be at
3, 2, 1.